Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Altcoin Buzz Trading. I'm Randy. Today we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and RDNT Technologies is actually launching their platform on Ethereum today. So some interesting information there. Let's get right to the action in BTC, which is not what we wanted to talk about today. At least, well, we wanted to talk about Bitcoin action today, just not the action that actually happened. On the daily candle, this is yesterday's, and we end up with a very ugly and large stalling candle. That is not what we envisioned yesterday when we made the video, and we all went about our lives, but it's what we ended up with. And if you remember yesterday, I was discussing prior cycles in the market and how this rally probably won't go super far, but will probably do something and go up and make a move. Well, this isn't the way you start to make the move, but it does highlight the fact that we're not fully in a macro bull cycle yet. Okay, so I wish we would go up a little bit more before we started seeing candles like this, but here we are. So 27,289 is our alert. Our target's up here at the 30,170 level. We're nowhere near that. We stalled nowhere near that. Let's dive down to the 2-hour time frame, get a little bit closer look at what happened. So we had the move up yesterday. This was textbook, really nice right here. Just because something's textbook doesn't mean that the larger macro cycle doesn't affect it. It does, and that's exactly what we witnessed. So this low volume consolidation after a rise here is really nice. Here's your cup, here's your handle in a cup and handle pattern. If I make it a little bit bigger, you can see. So there's your cup, there's your handle, beautiful breakout, everything you want to see. And then the market starts to play games like it typically does. And especially in this environment, we're still technically in chop. Chop is where we're stuck in a range. There's a high and low. We can't get in between either of those. And our range is bigger than what I'm looking at. For those of you that aren't aware, like this is our larger range, this orange box. And so anytime we're in this box, we're subsequent to throwbacks, and this is a large throwback. Now, so we popped up, we rolled over, and our volume got very mixed. And then my volume aggregation tool generally does a pretty good job of sussing out these situations. And as you can see, it's actually not all bad news. The greens are over my orange here because I don't like red, at least on this chart. And yeah, I don't think that it's horrible. It's definitely not what we want to see. Now, where we're at now, we could pop up from that. We haven't come back down underneath of our breakout point. We stopped right at the breakout point. So from that perspective, we're okay. Does it feel good? No. Is it what you want to see? No. But can you do anything about it? No, you also can't do anything about it. So we just have to deal with it. And the thing that we can do is manage our risk appropriately. So if you have positions on, and if you do have your stop down here, you know, where is it, the 26,597, you can actually move it up to reduce some of that risk. So here's our handle, and now that that's behind us, we can kind of use that as a potential stopping point. Just roughly say the 27,000 level. You can pick your number around there because it's a really big number, but anywhere around there could be good for a stop. Now, they do hunt stops like that. We've recently had a couple where those were hunted and then they reversed up. So if you want to go a little bit lower, that's fine. But the fact of the matter is that we're still holding up bullish, but you still want protection. So move the stop up to an appropriate level. You can move it break even if you want to. If you're really scared in this environment, I can understand that. So that's a move you can do as well. But the BTC, while not the best start to the day, we'll see how it ends up. And it could take later in the week until we finally reverse out of this garbage. But let's hope we do. Otherwise, we're right back to chop. And if we circle back to the daily time frame, so here you can better see that that chop I was referring to. So here's the chop. And if you notice within the chop, so here's a downtrend. Here's a downtrend. Last time we broke the downtrend, it was fairly abrupt, which is what we were hoping for, but didn't quite pan out that way so far. But we can reverse that around. It's just, you know, not what you want to see right out of the gate, which probably means we may or may not get to the target. And if you remember, our target up here wasn't even to the top of the range. The top of the range is actually over 32,000. I say it's too high. Why is that way up there? It should be right here. 31,835-ish. There we go. That's strange. So it should be up here at this spike, and we're not even really close to that. We gave it plenty of wiggle room, trying not to be greedy. Another less greedy point could be here at the 29,161, but I wanted to try to go for a little bit more up here on that spike. So we'll see where we end up, but we could just chop around, unfortunately, and hopefully we can stay up and maybe we'll do something more bullish in the future. All right, next up is Ethereum, and Ethereum, we're following this with the inverted head and shoulders. Ethereum, a big token, a lot of people know it and trust it. With the same candle, similar to what we just saw with Bitcoin, though, the reversal, the rollover back down to the 1626 breakout point, and we got pretty far, not quite to our 75% level. We kind of actually double topped here, stalled out, rolled over. That's a fairly normal. Again, not ideally what you'd like to see if you think we're going to go higher than that, but a very normal behavior, nothing abnormal there. Let's go down to the 2 hour. Apparently I have daily on both of them. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me get my chart right. All right, there we go. So there's the 2 hour time frame. And here, look at my volume aggregation tool on the 2 hour time frame here. If you remember versus Bitcoin, it looked pretty good. This looks better. Even with all the selling pressure, the buyers are still around. The buyers are still supporting. And this is another good hope that we have to kind of pull this out. And if you look at it, we basically stopped dead on that 1626. And we shall see how we hold up from that. But we'll see. All I can say is we'll see, because nobody knows. Again, not what you want to see. I don't like these lows being taken out right here. This was a nice consolidation over the weekend and into Friday. And this was great price action, just like with Bitcoin, right? But then we get this, and you just have to deal with it. Once again, you can raise stops to mitigate some risk, but it's just the trade that we're in here at the moment. And the next one is a new one, RDNT. They're actually having an interesting, their mainnet is going live on Ethereum today, from my understanding. So I want to show you this, and I want to show you how to approach something like this. It isn't actionable at the moment, but I'm going to draw it with you. I drew one trend line already just to give us a baseline. Let's go back out to the daily, and we'll work from that for right now, because we don't really have anything shorter term to deal with. So here's Radiant on the daily. And this is not a bad pattern. This is something you see time and time again. Basically, some kind of a descending channel. And when something like a mainnet on Ethereum happens, that is a larger event. That could be considered an event worthy of price action. Now, sometimes price action just comes out of the blue. Other times it comes with cause. And this could be a cause for some price action. A little bit dismayed that nothing's happening yet, but maybe it'll come in as people, people maybe don't know about Radiant quite yet, but maybe they'll start to see it in the coming weeks on Ethereum, and then we'll start to see some good price action. They're like, oh, a new network on Ethereum. Maybe something's going to happen with this one. So what do you look for in this situation? Well, the first thing you have to look at is a chart itself and see what it's done, and has it done anything bad? Because sometimes coins come out and just die, and you could interpret this chart that way, but I don't interpret this chart that way at all. So you can look at my volume aggregation tool, and yes, the sellers do have control, which makes sense because we have been in a downtrend. So I'm not really mad at that, but the sellers aren't like fully in control. The buyers kind of stay with them for the most part, and it shows in the chart. This is not a very aggressive sell-off. Looks like this IPO'd around March, so it was like, what, 7 months ago, something like that. So 6-7 months ago this came out, and we're playing around the top of the channel. That's also a good sign. Our volume is generally declining. You can tell that by this orange average volume line. And so they're not really throwing this thing away. It's just sitting here. Now, you don't want to get involved in something that's just sitting here either. So how do you play it? Well, one thing to do is you can take your little box tool and go to the low, go to this recent high, and give yourself a box. This is a range that if it stays within this box, it is a viable support and resistance area, okay? Because if it can't go below the bottom of the box, that's support. If it can't go above the top of the box, that's resistance. And as breakout traders, what you do is you essentially, let's say it chops around here a little bit, comes up, and then boom, breaks out, right? You can buy it on the breakout. You can identify potential earlier accumulation signals. Just depends on what it does, right? So yeah, that's really all you do. You just kind of wait, and you see the price action. Is it detrimental price action? Is it supportive price action? Those are the things that you want to look for. So it's hard to get involved before it breaks out here, but you can given the right circumstances. As we just discovered, the macro structure of the market matters a tremendous amount. And so if we go deeper into this choppy slash bear market, this may or may not work out. Now, given the fact it's a small token, given the fact it's new, it may work out. And this is still due what I call a first pop. Okay, pretty much every asset, almost every asset, has what I call a first pop. It's the first big move that it has. Someone has to speculate that this thing is going to go up. And so if you can participate in that, even if you only get one pop, sometimes it's the only pop, it can be a good one. So keep that in mind. This is a nice little rally. I don't consider that a first pop, though. I don't think it was quite big enough. Looks like it went for like 50-something%. Yeah, about 60%. So not a huge rally. And I think we can do it again. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But that's how you handle this. You basically kind of form a box around it. If it goes beneath the bottom of the box, you reassess your box. You can keep your top and move your bottom. And then say it comes down and forms another top here at the top of the trend line. You know, comes down to here. Maybe it hits this. Maybe it doesn't. Comes up, hits this, then chops. Then you just lower your box altogether. You know, but you have to play. You have to. This is a patient game. It's a patient game. This isn't something you rush into. You don't buy Radiant today. That's the dumbest thing you can do. So that's how you handle that. And I just thought I'd approach that. I think it's an interesting situation. A coin with not a bad technical signature making a fundamental move that actually could be beneficial. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Altcoin Buzz Trading.